Welcome to KnowHow Academy and to this Power BI Full Beginner Walkthrough 2025 edition. Whether you are a student or a job seeker or a business owner, if you would like to learn Power BI, then this tutorial will be your first Power BI dashboard that you are going to learn from scratch. So let's work on it. So here in this Power BI, we will be working on the desktop, on Power BI service and on our mobile versions. So when to use each version, let me give you some real world example. If you want to go and create a Power BI report, if you want to get the data from your SQL server, from your CSV into Power BI, then you are going to use Power BI desktop, which also includes the step in order to do some DAX calculations. And if I would like to talk about the Power BI service, that is a platform where we go and publish the particular report, where we go and publish the particular dashboard, and that is the place where we are going to share this with our end user, share our dashboard with our end user. There are multiple parameters that we have to consider whenever we are going to create a particular video. So now, how the companies use Power BI today? If you talk about the finance marketing, if you talk about the HR, so if you talk about the marketing, so when I'm talking about all these things, then the Power BI, if you talk about the finance sector, they go with the financial modeling, where you would like to see the profit and loss, how much profit we have got and how much loss we have got. If you would like to see about the HR, what is the HR attrition rate? So how many employees are leaving the organization? How many employees are currently in the organization? How many employees have taken leaves? Okay, so these kind of things we can go and identify from HR. If you look into the marketing perspective, in the marketing we can go and consider that this is as a if you would like to see the cost per click, okay, or cost per acquisition, or burn rate, or rate through. So all these things we can generally get it from the marketing perspective or a marketing dashboard. So what we are going to build here, we are going to build a sales dashboard. What we are going to do, we are going to build a sales dashboard. So in order to build this particular dashboard, what are the tools that are required? So we go with the Power BI latest version. We will go and use the Power BI latest version, and we will use the Excel data set, that you can see it here. So first, in order to get your particular Power BI, what we have to do? So downloading Power BI is very easy. It doesn't require any sort of key. It doesn't require any sort of code to do that. It's very easy to download. So what we can do, we can directly go here to our Microsoft Store. You can go and search Microsoft Store, and under this Microsoft Store, you have an option to search Power BI Desktop. Okay, so let me go and show it to you here. We will click on this particular search option and we go and search for Power BI Desktop. So when we go and click this Power BI Desktop, we have this Power BI Desktop app here. So now with this Power BI Desktop application, okay, so we will get an option to click to download or to get. So there we can click and we can download our Power BI Desktop. So here we can connect this Power BI Desktop, or we can get this Power BI Desktop from Google also. We can search free download Power BI Desktop. We will get the Power BI Desktop as well. So now let's look into how you can see Power BI as soon as you install it. So as soon as you install it, this is the page that you are going to see in Power BI, and this is what we call it as the Power BI Desktop. Okay, this is a Power BI desktop. So if you see here, so in this Power BI desktop, we have on the right hand side, we have panes, we have filters pane, we have build pane, and we have data pane. So whenever we are trying to connect the data and whenever we get the data into our Power BI, then we get all those tables here in the data section. So section is nothing but a pane that we generally talk about in Power BI. Okay. So now what's happening is that we have the views towards the left hand side. What are the views? The report view, the Power View. So we have a table view where whatever the tables we have got into our Power BI, that we can see it here. And we have a model view. Model view is nothing but that's where you are going to create the relationships between the two tables. And we have a DAX view and we have a TMDL view. So these are the different types of views that we have it in our particular Power BI. So now what we will do, we will just explore the data that we have it here. If I just show it to you, we have a customer's data where we have the customer's information, or we call it as a customer ID 1, 2, 3, and we have the customer name column and we have the region column. Each customer, they belong to which region, and along with that we have the products table. So we have the product ID, we have the product name, we have the category, each particular product belongs to which category, and what is the unit price. So we have all those things here. And along with that, we have the sales table where we have the date information, we have the product ID information, we have the customer information or the customer ID. That's what we have seen in the customers table. We have the quantity column, sales amount column, discount column, and profit column. So these are the different types of tables that we have it in our data set, sales data set. So now what we are going to do, we are going to import these tables into our Power BI. So we are going to import these tables into Power BI. So for that, we have to close our existing files that we have opened up. And after this, what we have to do, we have to go and get that particular data into Power BI. Okay. So now for that, I'll go to get data, and my data is in CSV format. I'll click on CSV. I'll click on customers table first. So whatever the table we are selecting, that will get connected and that will be loaded into our Power BI. So as you can see that we have a customers table. I'll click on load. Generally what we do, we follow the ETL format. And that's where we go with extract, transform, and load. I'm not directly working on or jumping on the transform data. So let's make it much more simple and easier. So for this, what I'm doing, I'm just connecting the customer's data and directly loading it. So whatever the transformations we have to do in that, we will do it later on. And next, I'll go here. I'll select the CSV again. I'll select the products table. I'll connect this products table into my particular Power BI. Again, we have the data. I'll click on load. Okay, we have got the products table. Now let me go and work on getting the last table, which is sales table. Okay, so once we get these sales table, then let's understand the modeling part here. Okay, so my dear viewers, here we have two types of tables that we have to go and understand, which is the fact table and the dimension table. So whatever the relationships we are trying to create between the tables, we work on this fact table and the dimension table. Okay, we have to understand the schema concept as well. So now, as you can see that as soon as I have clicked on CSV, I have got all these three tables here. That's fine. So now the point is that as I can directly get that particular data or the data that I have selected into Power BI, that is through import mode. So import mode, the condition is we need to have the data with less than 1 GB. So if it is greater than 1 GB, then we go with the direct query mode. So in direct query mode, what generally happens is that we do not have an option of previewing the tables that we have loaded. So that's where we directly do that in the database or in Python or in any other particular software. Okay. So now let me walk you through with the relationships that you can see here. Now you can see here the product table is connected with the sales table here. Am I right? But there is no connection between the sales table and the customer table. The reason is that if you look into the table, the customer ID, customer name and the region, these three are the column names, but these column names, they have come inside the data. So what we have to do, we have to do the transformation. So for this, what I will do, I'll come back to home, I'll click on transform data. Okay. As soon as I click on transform data, so what happens is that I'll select this particular row and I'll choose the option called use first row as header. Now we have got it. As you can see that my particular columns are 100% valid. We do not have any errors. We do not have any empty information here. Am I right? So as we do not have any errors, any empty informations, this particular table is clean. If you want to remove any column, just right click it and remove the column. If you want to replace any value, what we can do? We can directly right click it and we can replace a value. Okay, so these are the options. If you even want to change the data type, we can even go and change the data type as well. Okay, how can you change the data type? As you can see the icons here, 1, 2, 3, the calendar icon, okay, ABC. So these are all the data types that we have it in our Power BI. I'll click on this and we will get these are the different data types. As I have only the date information, I can get the date information here by choosing the date column, the date data type. So once we are done with this, we will click on close and apply. As soon as I click on close and apply, the changes that we have done there, that will be affected. Now you can see that the customer ID, customer name and region, they are back as a column header. So now look into it. I'll go to the data model. This is successfully created. Successfully created. As you can see here, it is one-to-many relationship. By default, it has created one-to-many relationship. As you can see, the product ID in the sales column and the product ID in the product column are getting matched. The customer ID in the sales column and the customer ID in the customers column, they are getting matched. You can manually do it. How can you do that? You can just drag and drop here like this. Okay, you can drag and drop like this, or you can go to manage relationships and you can create a new relationship by selecting the columns. Okay, by going the table and by selecting the particular table. So we are matching this already a relationship. So this is the another way that we can go and manually create the relationship as well. So my dear viewers, now what I'm trying to do, I'm going to create a new table here. Okay, I'm going to create a new table here. So under this new table, let me take the table name as date table. Okay, so date table equal to, I'm choosing the DAX function called add columns. So it will return a table with the new columns. Okay, so table 1. So what is here? I'm choosing the DAX function called calendar. Start date and end date. So what is the start date? So let me consider date of, so here I am considering as 2022. I am considering the month as 1. I'm considering the month as 1 and I'm considering the day as 1 here. Okay, so this is one date, comma, date of, again I'm taking date here, again I'm what doing, 2025 I'm taking the year, month I'm taking 12 and the date I'm taking it as 31st. Okay, so I'm closing this one for date, comma, double quotation, I'm choosing year here, year, comma. Now here as a DAX function again, what I am choosing? I am choosing the date particular column. I am choosing the date particular column, comma, comma. So here what I am doing? I am taking month, 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 comma, format. I am taking format of date. This is a very important thing that we have to consider. We have date. So where do we have date? We have date under sales table or under the products table, that we have to check it out. Okay, so the value that we are considering, we are considering it as date, comma, double quotation, month. Okay, 1 2 3 4, close the bracket, comma, double quotation, month number, double quotation, comma, month. Again I am choosing the DAX function called month here, month of date, comma, quarter. Okay, so let us see where do we have the date column. We'll come back to the table again. So we have under sales we have the column called date, right? So sales of date. Again we choose date here. Let me work on it again. I'm deleting it from model. Yes, okay, I'll come back. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create a new table here. So in this new table, what I'm going to do, I'm going to consider it as date table equal to add columns. So the first one I'm going to consider the table. So for this, first before I'm considering the DAX function called calendar. So what is the start date? So in order to work on the start date, I'm going to consider the date here. Okay, so the date. So the date, what you can do, from which particular table you have the date, that also you can consider it. Okay, let me work on date of, then we are going to consider the year 2022, comma, 1 as month, comma, day as 1, comma, again the date. So what we are considering, 2025, comma, 12, comma, 31, close the parenthesis, comma, double quotation year, comma, here I'm choosing the DAX function called year. We will go with date, comma, double quotation month, comma, I'm choosing the format as a text function here, format function, format of date, comma, double quotation, I want the month name, that's what I'm choosing, the month here. Okay, month, comma, double quotation, we have to close the parenthesis. Okay, format month number, comma, month of date, comma, quarter, we are going to consider quarter, comma, we are going to consider as Q, and format date, comma, Q. Okay, so here let's work on the error. We have got one unexpected error. Okay, so the error lies here. Double quotation is missing. Okay, so that is the problem. Double quotation is missing. Okay, all right, so this is perfect now. All right, so now let me click on enter. So what we are going to get, failed to resolve date, it is not valid table, variable or a function name. Okay, no worries. Here what we are going to do, we are going to take the date here. Okay, that's good. Now it suits. Okay, the date column that we have it, that we are going to choose it here, month of date column. All right. Perfect. See, we have got the date, we have got year, we have got month, and we have got the quarter. Excellent. So now what we are going to do, under this particular relationship, under the data modeling, this date table, what we are going to do, we are joining this to the sales date that we have it. The sales, under the sales table, the date that we have it. So here we are going to create the relationship. So what type of relationship, that is up to you, where we can go and create it. Okay, so we have created a relationship here. This is perfect, right? So now coming back to our particular report, let's go and work on some DAX functions. So now what is a DAX function? DAX is nothing but it's data analysis expression. So whatever the end users requirement, whatever the client's requirement that we have to meet those requirements. So in order to meet those requirements, there are some particular data sets that are not having the entire information. So that's where we are going to calculate few with some measures, with some functions. So that's where we go and work on it. Okay, so here we are not going to use lot of columns, calculated columns. The reason is that it may increase the size of the data set and may also cause some performance issues. Okay, so but before that, the table that we have created, the date table, so let us mark it as a date table here. We'll go and mark it as a date table so that we can identify that this is a date table. Okay, that's fine. Now coming back, I'll go and create some measures. The measures are something which are helpful in order to see the key values, some key numbers. So for this, let me go and create some measures. I'll go and create a new measure. The measure that I'm going to take is total sales. The measure that I'm going to take here, it's a total sales. So total sales equal to, I'm choosing the DAX function called sum of the sales amount, that's what I'm going to consider it here. I'll click on enter. We'll get the total sales. In the same way, I'm going and creating another measure where I'm going to calculate the total quantity equal to sum of the quantity column. So where do we have under the sales table? Sales of quantity. I'll click on enter. So total quantity is done. Now let me go and find out what is the total profit. That's also very important. I'll go here and consider it as total profit equal to sum of the profit. Where do we have profit? Under the sales column, sales table, sorry. So sum of total profit. Now we are going to find out the profit margin, which is very much important to calculate how much profit margin we have got. So which is very important for a business user to go and check it out. So profit margin. So in order to calculate profit margin, I am choosing the DAX function called divide, where I'll go with the total profit, comma, we go with the total sales that we have calculated. Click on enter. So now what I'm going to do, this one I'm making it as percentage because it's a profit margin percentage that we would like to calculate. So now I'm going here and using another new measure where we go with the average discount. How much average discount we have got. So for this I'm choosing the DAX function called average, and where do we have the discount column? Under the sales table, sales of discount. Okay, so now click on enter. We have got average discount, we have got total sales, total profit, total quantity. Okay, and we have got the profit margin. So now let me go and even calculate year to date sales. So for this, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate, I'm going to take the new measure. So here I'm going to calculate sales YTD. YTD stands for year to date. So total YTD equal to total YTD. So that's with the DAX function that we have it, which is year to date. So total YTD of, here we are going to take the total sales, which is an expression that we are going to consider, comma, where do we have the date? So that's what we are going to consider. Under the date table, we have date. So that's what we are going to consider. I click on enter. We'll get the sales YTD. All right. So we have done excellent visuals so that we have used it. So now let's work upon building up the dashboards. Building up the dashboard. That's a beautiful part of it. So now what I'm trying to do, I'll come here to the report view. We call it as a power view as well. So I'll go to the format. Under the wallpaper, I'm just going to change the background. This one, I'm selecting it, aligning it to the center, making it bold, and increasing the size to 32. Okay, and increasing the size to 32. Now the text color also, let me go and change it to something this color, so which looks good. Alright, it doesn't look good now in the background of white, but obviously it looks good when I just remove this background of white color to this. So I'm just aligning and getting this particular image somewhere in the center so that it looks good. Okay, something like this. I'll go to size and style. In the background, I'll off the background. So now this is beautiful, right? Sales dashboard. So we are going to use some KPI cards. KPI cards are very important. Let me tell you why KPI cards are very important. The reason when I'm telling KPI cards, cards are there's such a type of visual. So cards will help you to show the key metrics. Cards will go and understand the business in a very clear and easy way. That's where we are going to use the KPI cards here. So now what I'm trying to do, I'm going to take the first card chart and here I'm going to show the total sales. I'll get total sales here. Now it depends upon us how we are going to format it. So that comes a very important part. So let me off the category label so that I will add the title here. No, I don't want to change the image, or I can change the background, some random color like this. Then yeah, it's up to you. You can do it. It's not a problem. Or you can use some light colors, which suits best. Something like this. I will add the visual border. Border again, it's in a black. I'll align it rounded corners to 15, and I'll just increase the width to 4 points so that it looks beautiful. Now I'm going to add the title for this one. So the title is nothing but it's a total sales. It's a total sales. So we have got total sales. I'll align it into bold. Okay. So I'll increase the font size to 16. Okay. This is perfect. Now I'll align it to the center. Title is done. The value coming to the value, I'll make it bold, and rather than being as in a 45, I'll make it to 40. And the display units, yeah, obviously in thousands we can make it, or it is an auto. It's up to us. Okay, it's perfect. Now let me go and just keep it like this. Now in the same way, what we can do, we can copy it and we can add few more card charts very similar to this in order to save time rather than doing everything from scratch. So now what I'm going to do, I'll remove this total sales and I'll take the profit margin here. So profit margin, which is something around 20.73%, that we can keep it. And I'll come to the title and I'll change the title as profit margin. So with this, what happens, my dear viewers, you can save time. That's very interesting thing that we can do. So we have got the profit margin. We'll even see what is the total profit that we have got. So I'll remove here and I'll again add the total profit here. I'll go to the title and I'll change it to profit, total profit. Okay, so how many number of categories that we have, that also if you would like to see, we can show that information as well here. So I'll go here and the category that we have it. So we are getting the first category, right click and go with the count distinct. We go with the number, so distinct number. So here I'll go and choose it as total category. Okay, so we have got two. Interesting, right? So we have got total sales, we have got profit margin, we have got total profit, and we have got total category. So now let me go and show some trends. In order to show the business trends, that's where we go with the line chart. Okay, so what I'm doing here in the line chart, I'm just formatting it in the same way. I'll just format this one. Now I'll consider the total sales, that we have it by the day wise perspective, if you would like to consider. So for this, what we are trying to do, we are going here, we are getting the date. Okay, so now I'll go with this particular date here, and what we are going to do is nothing but in the y-axis I'm going to take the total sales. Okay, let me take the total sales here. Okay, so we have got it right by date. If you would like to consider how much sales we have got, so I can switch on the data labels here. That's a very good point to do. So on particular date, how much sales you have got, that's what I would like to show. and even what we can see, what is the total quantity on which particular product. Now that also, if I would like to show, I can show that. So what I'll do, I'll go and take the bar chart here. Okay, I'll take the bar chart here, and in this bar chart I will also format it in the same way here. So what I'll do, I'll take the product names that I have it, and I'll take the total quantity that I have it, how much for each particular product. That's very interesting thing to show. Now we can even do some small of formatting in the lines. I'll go and change the color of the line. I'll choose some this color. Okay, it looks good. I'll come to the total quantity by product name. I'll come to the data labels, which I would like to align inside the center. Okay, and here I'll go and change the bars colors as well. Not all bar colors should be the same. Let us make it much more attractive. I'll go with the printer. I'll go and choose this color. Okay, and I'll go with the tablet, and the tablet color, let's make it this. Okay, so we have got in a very interesting way. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose a pie chart. That's very interesting chart that we have it. So I'll just format it in the same way. In the pie chart, I will show how much is my sales per region. So for this, what we have to do, in the legend, let me get region, and in the values, let me get total sales. Okay, total sales. We have got it. So under the detail label, as you can see this, as the size is bigger, we cannot see the data labels here. So let me make it to 16. It's still much more lesser. So we have to see the complete value, not the half information which is hidden. That's one thing that we have to keep it as a note. Okay, I'll make it black. Okay, here let us go and change the slices color. So north, I'll go and choose this color. For east, I'll go and choose this color. Okay, so one color, let us make it a little bit different. Okay, something like this. Perfect. So this is total sales by region that we have it here. Now I'm going to take a matrix chart which is used for the hierarchy perspective. Okay, for a hierarchy perspective. So what I'll do, I'll just come here. I'll go with the customer names. Okay, I'll go with the customer names. I'll go with the product names. You can use whatever information you want. I'll go with the customer name, and in the columns I'll go with the product name, and in the values how much sales they have done, that I would like to show it. Okay, interesting. So the title, what we can do, we can just add it as a customer details. Customer details. Perfect. So this one also you can align it a bit so that you cannot find any empty spaces in between. Okay, all right, so something like this, we have some customer details. What you can do, even we can even go and add the slicers. You can add a lot of slicers here. It depends upon how you are going to choose it. All right, so you can even elaborate it, but make sure my dear viewers, whenever we are working on Power BI, the interesting part is how are you going to align it and how are you going to format the visual. So that's very important that we have to consider. Though you have 4 or 5, but make sure that you are using it in a right way. That's a very important thing that we have to consider. So now I'm going and considering a slicer here. So in this slicer, you can obviously go and format it in the same way. I'll go and format it in the same way. So in the slicer, let me go and add year information. Okay, we are going to add year. So I'll consider year here. Rather than choosing the zoom slider, what we can do, okay, so we can go to slicer setting and we can go with the drop down. That is one option that we have it. Okay, so we can select it. All right, so now in the same way, I'll just copy and paste 2 more so that it will be easy for us to explore few of the informations, whatever the client wants. They can go and check it out. Now I'll remove year here and I'll choose region. Okay, I'll go to the title and here I will go and change the text as region. Okay, so what are the regions we have? East. Okay, good. As you can see that it is interacting, every visual is getting interacted, right? So now I'll go to year. So I'll remove year here and I'll go and add the category. So what type of category we have it. So the title also I'm going to change it to category. Okay, as you can see that, okay, electronics, how much is the sales? Accessories, what is the quantity and sales? Perfect. So this is how we want it. If you want to make it in a much more interactive way, yes, we can even go and add the buttons. We can go and add the drill through on charts or drill down on charts. So what we can do that, but let me show you how we can do that. So for this, I have to first create a bookmark. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'll go to view and I'll go and create a bookmark here. So let me go and click it as a home. I'll rename it to home here. So this is done. Now what I'm trying to do, I'll go and insert a button here. Okay, I'll go to insert. I'll go and add a blank button. We'll get a button here. Okay, I'm going to the button style. Under the button style, I'll make it to the rounded rectangle, and I'm going to add a text here as home. I'm going to add a text here as home. I'll make it bold. I'll increase the size. Okay, I'll make the font color something little like this. Okay, and the border also I'll make it black or white. It depends upon the convenience. Okay, I can fill it. Okay, something like this. Now this is not interactive. Nothing is happening. No change is happening. So for this, what we have to do, we have to go and click on action. When I click on action, it will ask what type of action we want. We want bookmark. So what type of bookmark? Home. So now let me show you practically how it works. Let's consider I have selected East here, and in this I have selected accessories. Okay, or in this I have selected electronics, something like this. So now rather than unchecking by going to the each slicer, what I can do, I can click on home. I'll come back to the normal position or the home position with all the values that we have it. This is very important. So now what we are trying to do, I'll try to save this one. So why we have to save it? In order to publish it into our Power BI service so that we can share it to our end user. So what do I share it? Let me share it as a sales something like this. Okay, I'll click on save. As soon as it is saved, how we have to publish it? Either you can go with the premium license or with the pro license, depending upon the position that you are working in an organization or whatever the organization gives you, right? So now what we are trying to do, so I'll go here to the home page. I have an option called publish. I'll click on publish, and it will ask me in which workspace we have to select. So whatever the workspace we have created in, you have to select that, and I'll click on select. It is going to publish into that workspace that I have created. Now what is a workspace here? Workspace is nothing but that's a platform where we go and publish the reports into Power BI service. From there we are going to share it to the end user. Let me give you a simple example. In order to play cricket, you need to have a playground. In order to play football, you need to have a football ground. So without football ground, we cannot play at our home, right? We cannot play in our hall or in our bedroom. Very simple. So in the same way, we are going to do that. So now what I'm trying to do, I'll click on got it. I'll go to my particular account. I'll go to Power BI service where I have my particular account there. So we have to select the account. Then we need to go to our workspace. There we can find the report that we have published. Let me show it to you. Okay, so under the workspaces, I have the test workspace, which I have published my particular sales dashboard. So you can see that this is the report that we have published just now. I'll click on this particular report, and you can see the same report what I have done in our particular Power BI service. Power BI service, that's very important. So here, my dear viewers, what we can do, we can create a scheduled refresh if you want to refresh your data, as per the scheduled time that you want. So if you are using a pro license, then you can able to refresh your data up to 8 times per day. If you are using a premium license, you can refresh the data up to 48 times per day. So in order to do that, you need to have a gateway access. We need to create the gateway. After we create a gateway, we have to go here. Let me show it to you. I'll go to the test workspace. Okay, any particular dashboard if you want to choose, any where you can go here. We have a settings. Under the settings, okay, we have to make sure that we have the proper gateway. Okay, so let me come back. Let me come back to the workspace. Let me show you any particular thing that we have created so far. I'll go to settings. Okay, as you can see that we have a gateway connection. After we have the gateway connection, we have an option called refresh. After we go and enable this one, after we go and link our gateway, this refresh will be enabled, where we have to go and schedule the refresh. That's how we generally go and do. So now coming back to the sales dashboard Power BI. So what you can do, you can publish the entire dashboard, entire report at once, or you can go with the individual visual. So what I'll do, I'll pin this to a dashboard. So what type of dashboard it is asking? Let me go and create a new dashboard. So the dashboard name is something as sales dashboard, something with the name like this. I'll click on pin live. So I'll go to the dashboard here. I'll go to the dashboard here. We have got this particular dashboard. You can see it. We can change the background also. We can even go and create a mobile layout also. Okay, let me go and change the dashboard theme. Some darker color like this. Okay, we can save like this, or it's up to us. If you want to save, you can save. If you do not want, you cannot save. Now I'll show you the mobile layout, how it should be visible in a mobile. For example, if your client or if your end user, they would like to see your particular dashboard in their mobile. For example, if they are traveling somewhere, they do not have laptop or PC or computer with them, they can even see the Power BI report in the mobile layout by installing Power BI desktop as an application. So that also you can do it. Now I'll come back to the web layout here. Okay, so if you want to export, I'll come back to my particular report. If you want to export to PDF or PowerPoint, you can do that. As you can see that we have an option called export. We can analyze in Excel, we can share it in a PowerPoint, or we can export it in a PDF. Right? If you want to share it with the end user, we can click on share. We can give to whomever email ID you want to share. So those email ID you can give it, and you can click on send. As soon as you can click on send, the particular link of this one will be shared with them, and they can even go and see in their particular systems, or when they have logged in into their particular computer, right? So congratulations, my dear viewers, you have built your first Power BI sales dashboard with modeling, with DAX visuals, with the DAX functions, with the visuals you have created, with the charts that you have used, the requirement of on what chart when you have to use, and you have even seen how you have to publish it into your Power BI service and how we have to work on it, right? So this is very interesting way that you can go and create a first Power BI like this. There are many such things that we will be discussing every day from now on how we have to create the reports depending upon the requirements, depending upon the scenarios, and all those things in our upcoming sessions. So thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as your source for IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.